public housing is under attack, what do we do?
Stand back.
What do we do?
Stand back.
When public housing is under attack, what do we do?
Fight back.
That's right. So first of all, I want to thank each and every one of you for coming out today. It's a beautiful day. You can be in the park, you can be with your kids, you can be home watching a show on TV. But you're here today because you care about the future of your home. There's no secret. The New York City Housing Authority, including some of our elected officials, are trying to privatize our homes. They're using RAD, PACT, and the trust as a master plan to privatize our homes and allow private developers and private investors to capitalize off of our homes. It converts our public housing to Section 8, watering down the Section 9 protections we have under the 964 regulations. Things like Section 3, things like secession rights, things like grievance procedures. It also allows our property to be used as collateral to take on private debt. The Public Housing Preservation Trust will be allowed to take on $10 billion. And you know what? The city nor the state has guaranteed that they will step in the event of a default. Do we believe that the Housing Authority will do a good job with $10 billion? No! Absolutely not.
Put it in their pocket.
The City Council held a hearing last year and discovered that the Housing Authority has spent only 6% of the capital dollars that they were allocated. The Housing Authority has a track record of mismanaging money. If they mismanage money under Section 9, we don't get the repairs that we need. But if they mismanage money under the Public Housing Preservation Trust, we risk our properties going into foreclosure.
My name is NYCHA Torres. I am the president of Alfred E. Smith Houses. I have lived in Alfred E. Houses. I'm 71 years old. I have lived in Alfred E. Smith Houses for 60 years. I raised my children and partially my grandchildren, and I was raised there. What we're going through right now is pushing back on NYCHA to fix what needs to be fixed, which is our structural, with the pipes inside our walls. I don't need new stoves, I don't need new bathtubs. I need the walls inside our apartments to be changed because they're hideous. And what I need is for them to begin to do it. If they find a leak on one floor, on one line, then do the whole line. Don't wait, because all they're doing is wasting money and time. And we need to have more say, because it's important for us to say what needs to be said, right? Only Section 9 allows us the power to do what needs to be done. I was interviewed and they asked me, they told me, you're a thorn in NYCHA's side. And I go, I do everything that the regulations of HUD 964 allows me, which is to stand up for the residents, to support my residents, and to always be able to be truthful for them by helping them. And I use the 964 to ensure that that happens. And that's what gives us the power. Under Section 9, the trust does not have any of that. And so I caution everyone when they talk to you about the trust and the RAD. Clearly, only Section 9 allows us to have rights, to do resident management, to support our residents, and finally to maintain and keep our homes.
Cesar Reyes, Director of Organizing with good old Lower East Side. That's GOLES. That's GOLES.org. We're here today to hear for the hearing that NYCHA is hosting around the RAD, PACT, and Preservation Trust programs. In collaboration with some of our partner organizations, right, conducting this press event, this press action today, to voice our concerns and our opinions around the RAD PACT program and how problematic it is. Some of the tenants and residents of NYCHA were able to, share their stories as well today, what their experiences are, as well as their concerns. And the idea is for us to go in there and let, City Council, let the city know, let NYCHA know, right, what our concerns are, and continue to strive and push for, the prevention of these programs in the community until it actually, is facilitated in a way where it's transparent and is actually beneficial for the tenants.
Right. Can you talk a little bit about your concerns about RAD PACT?
Well, the primary concern I have is, the dissolvement of the tenant protections that NYCHA residents would have, right? Under Section 9, they have a tremendous amount of protections that, allow them to continue to remain in their units. And it's a tremendous package, right? Through the conversion plan around RAD PACT, we're looking at the conversion from Section 9 to Section 8. So these leases will no longer be under the tenant protections that they currently have, but rather under the guidelines of Section 8, which is problematic for a lot of tenants that are, NYCHA residents at this point in time. In addition to that, we have seen some of the units that have been, converted through the conversion plan. Some of the buildings that have gone through this conversion pack of RAD PACT. And, what we found is a lot of displacement beginning to happen. And that is something that is concerning for us as well, right, as NYCHA is trying to, use this as a ripple effect throughout the city in order to, quote unquote, address, right, the repair needs that we have.
I am going to echo the words of my colleague, and I am going to be quick and short to the point. Yes, November 7th, please come out and vote. Your vote counts. Always remember, no matter what, we are human beings and we should not be discarded. The trust, I don't trust. The RAD, the PACT, we have people that are going through that conversion right now. They're not happy. So if they're not happy, why would we continue to remove people from their homes and make them unhappy and unsafe?
Give it up for Councilman Chris Monte.
First of all, I want to say thank you so much for everyone being out here and fighting for yourself, fighting for your neighbors, and fighting for every public housing resident. Every few years, NYCHA comes to us with a different plan. Whether it's Next Gen, PACT, RAD, and now they're coming to us with trust. And it's all the same BS. When the Human Rights Watch did an analysis of RAD and PACT, they came out with a study that said evictions are actually higher than in regular NYCHA public housing. That shows the truth of what NYCHA is trying to do. They're trying to kick us out of our home and they're trying to sell it to the highest bidder. And it's typically these developers that have a reputation of kicking out Section 8 tenants throughout our city. For example, I have a Section 8 development, Land's End, who constantly face harassment by LNM and now Related. These are the same companies that are trying to take over NYCHA and do exactly the same. Why? Because our city doesn't care about us.
My name is Alexa Cruz, and I am an elderly, and I've been in NYCHA since 1969 when I was 16 years old as my father struggled to raise 11 kids, and we moved into NYCHA, and my father died, and I had to take the responsibility. I wasn't able to go to college, so I can make good money like everybody else is making money right now. We're all poor. We're poor here, and we need to be considered as the civil and human rights as us. The mayor is no good. I would take him off office. I don't want to vote Democrat. I'm going to vote Republican because they're turning their backs on the poor people. And I don't like it at all. And I feel very uncomfortable. I don't sleep at night. And I think about it every single day. And I look in the website, and I go to Twitter, and I protest, and I search and search and search to see if I find a solution, but I cannot find a solution.
My name is Albert Mercado. I have been a NYCHA resident of Baruch Houses since 1959, when my parents first moved into our new building at Baruch Houses. I had moved away when I got married. However, I had to come back and take care of my parents, which is why I'm back at Baruch Houses. The reason I am out here is because they want to make a big change. And I think they're trying to hoodwink and bamboozle us with this Section 9 stuff. And we're not going to stand for it. We're a lot of educated people. I myself has a master's degree in chemistry. And there are a lot of smart people, plus there are a lot of street smart people, which is probably even smarter yet, to say the least.
Right.
So hopefully with the amount of groups, people that we have here, if we make enough noise, probably they'll listen to us sooner or later.
And what are some of the tactics that they use to privatize public
Well,
housing?
at least at Baruch Houses, I haven't felt anything as of today. It has happened to some of my friends in other buildings in Manhattan, but it has not happened to us personally at Baruch Houses yet. So time will tell.
And what have your friends gone through?
I've heard of evictions. I've heard of them downsizing without being given a choice. Moved to different boroughs, somewhere in the Rockaways, far, far away from where your immediate family is. For instance, most of my immediate family is here in the Lower East Side of Manhattan. If I was to move to Brooklyn, Queens, or even the Rockaways, I would be far away from my immediate family. These are the kinds of tactics that I understand that they have done and they continue to do.
And also they kind of let the apartments, they don't do repairs. From what I know, because I covered a lot in the Jacob Reese houses where the water was contaminated with lead and arsenic.
Right.
And, they do minor repairs, but they don't fix the actual problem. And
well,
like
they
the mold-
pretty much smother the fire, but they don't get to the root cause of the actual problem, which is the most important thing. There is no long-term plan to fix something that doesn't have to be fixed 2 or 3 months from now. They kind of appease the tenant in coming in, doing somewhat of a job until something happens again and you have to call them up again. I consider myself lucky because I'm the only tenant that has ever lived in my apartment at Baruch Houses, because my parents moved in 1959. I'm still the same resident when I was 4 years old when I came into Baruch Houses. So I happen to be very fortunate. However, I have tenants in my building that they have holes in the bathroom. The kitchen cabinets need to be repaired. There's a lot to be worked, a lot done. The apartments, when they're turned over quite a bit, depending on how many children in the apartment, that takes a toll on the apartment. So I consider myself lucky to be the only resident. If you look at my apartment, one of the maintenance men says it looks like the apartment was built yesterday. Yeah, but my parents didn't put pictures on the walls, they didn't make holes on the walls, nothing at all. So I consider myself to be a little lucky.
Can you talk a little bit about the RAD Pact?
I don't know much about the RAD Pact except for that they paint a rosy picture, but when you get into the nitty-gritty details of the actual PACT and the conversion, there's very little to be desired. I've heard horror stories from Betances buildings, Betances 1, I think it was, on 13th Street and Avenue C. A lot of people being moved out and downsized, to say the least. The other thing I've heard, they do not allow for you to put a grandson on your lease. Horror stories like that. Again, I happen to be fortunate that I haven't experienced it yet, but we have to be cognizant of what may come down the road.
My name is Dr. Keisha Crawford. I am the TA president for Star Gardens Development, and I am their voice. I am my neighbor's voice, and together we stand. I also have my Sergeant at Arms. My Sergeant at Arms, come on. My Sergeant at Arms and this secretary. It's just so much going on in our development. They telling us, like Marquis said, that luxury. They're going to fix it. As a matter of fact, housing gave them an apartment to fix up they gave them an apartment to fix up to show the residents that that's how their apartment's going to be. But we all know it's all a lie. It's a lie. It's a lie. And something happened to us yesterday when we think that PACT had something to do with it. Our office was robbed. Our office was robbed. And we also had a meeting with our property manager. Because they put up some flyers. They put up some documents stating that they're going to come and inspect people's apartment, but the residents thinking that it's NYCHA. And so we were in we had a meeting with the property manager. I asked them, how are they getting in our buildings to put up these papers? And she said, well, I don't know. And she said that, they had ID and they went downstairs. Long story short, I think that they have a key and they've been watching us. Because all of a sudden, we come back to our office and the door is open. It's scared the shoe out of me, but I'm a child of God and I'm covered with the blood of Jesus and everything gonna be all right, and our development will be saved in the name of Jesus Christ. And I thank everybody for coming out here. That's power.
My name is Anna Luft, and I am the project director for the Public Housing Justice Project at New York Legal Assistance Group. Every day, my colleagues and I work with tenants who live in Section 9, tenants who live in Section 8, tenants going through the conversion process to convert to RAD PACT, and tenants who already live in RAD PACT developments. And let me be clear, violent and unfair evictions happen in every single development across the city. I don't want to act like it's perfect anywhere, but one thing is obvious to us. RAD PACT satisfies NYCHA's bottom line, but it destabilizes communities and it puts families at risk, and it is totally unacceptable.
So yes, I work for Take Root Justice, but I've lived in public housing a majority of my life for over 20 years now. And I'm here today because I want to echo the fact that we're not stupid. It's mind-boggling to me that NYCHA wants to implement policies to change people's leases, including the income levels that would essentially remove our higher income families from public housing, while at the same time arguing that we need to privatize to incorporate mixed income housing. It's preposterous. It's a way of, as earlier saying, dismantling communities that have been there for generations. If we are earning more income and we're finally getting stability, why push us out of the community we've lived in for decades? Why push us out from a social capital network that we've been dependent on? We've been caring for each other before mutual care or aid projects, before COVID. We've been looking out for each other, and that's why we're here today, to continue looking out for each other under Section 9. There's no need, right? There's no need to privatize. We've heard time and time again that there's millions of dollars sitting there. It's about it not being utilized. NYCHA says last month that it's because of shortages in staff. Well, take away some of those RAD and PACT positions and put them back into Section 9. Put RAD and PACT on hold so we know the truth on what's really going on with residents and get the Section 9 repairs done. Why do we have to give up our Section 9 leases to get the repairs that we've been owed for decades?
The state must step up and fund public housing. Our federal government must step up and fund public housing. So again, I am so proud. I am so honored. Never have I been more proud to be a public housing resident than to stand here as one of the founding members of the Residents to Preserve Public Housing, to stand with good old Lower East Side, to stand with Take Root Justice, to stand with NYCHA, to stand with all of you advocates, to say this is our home and we will not let you take it.
Public housing public, keep public housing public, keep public housing public.